form, and we're just drinking, drinking, drinking.
Yeah, you're right. Most people believe that hydration equals drink plain water. Unfortunately, actually drinking plain water can actually make things worse. Number one, what ends up happening is after you absorb the water, you dilute your blood sodium levels. And so then your body wants to excrete it. And so if you drink just plain water, you can actually drop your blood volume because your body is saying, okay, I need to actually diurese. I need to get rid of this extra fluid. And studies have shown that drinking just plain water increases the body's susceptibility to electrically induced muscle spasms and cramps because it dilutes your electrolytes. So it's actually one of the worst things to do to drink plain water prior to performance. And you can actually inhibit vigorous exercise performance as well, drinking plain water, depending on how much you drink, because when you're doing vigorous exercise, which is basically 64% of your VO2 max or higher, gastric emptying, meaning how quickly fluids empty from the stomach to the intestine, goes down. And so you actually, if you consume, let's say, just 5 ounces of water every 15 minutes, you will exceed your stomach's ability to dump that water, and you will increase and expand the stomach, and that can lead to bloating and cramping. And that's been shown to just drinking 5 ounces of water every 15 minutes in vigorous exercise has been shown to decrease performance by 2.5%. So not only that, but if you're talking about like a marathon, over consuming plain water can increase the risk of death due to what's called hyponatremia, basically plummeting sodium levels in the blood. So you got to be really careful just drinking plain water in both endurance exercise and vigorous exercise performance.
I experimented this myself, or experienced, my second marathon I ever ran. This was a few years ago. It was the Austin Marathon. And my thought process going into was I'm going to make sure I'm hyper hydrated, quote unquote, before going to this race. Because the year prior, I cramped up a lot. And the Austin Marathon has a bunch of hills, but I cramped up a lot on that marathon. So going into the second marathon, my thought process was, okay, I'm going to hydrate more. So what I did prior to that race is I just drank a gallon of water. And like the day before, the second half of the day, I just drank water. And within the first half of that marathon, I started cramping up like no other. When I realized after the race was done was, okay, I essentially ruined myself. I ruined that race because I had no electrolytes in my body.